Hello guys. Thank you for joining this session. Alright, let us now take a look at some more transformations, in addition to previous lecture, and options available to us, when using the copy command in Snowflake. So far, we have explored basic transformations, but what else can we do? Let's walk through a few more powerful techniques, that will give us even more control, over how data is loaded. Normally, the number of columns in your data source must match the number of columns in your target table. That's the default behavior. But, what if your source file contains more columns than your table, or vice versa, and you only want to load a few of them? Well, Snowflake gives us the flexibility to do just that. If you are only loading 2 columns, for example, you simply need to explicitly specify which columns in the table you are loading into. That is done by listing the column names, right after the table name in the copy command. This also means, column order matters. So if order ID is the first column in your source, it needs to map correctly to the order ID column in the table. Let's see this in action. We specify just 2 columns in the copy command, run it, and voila, it works perfectly. When we query the table, we see that the data has been loaded into those 2 columns, and the rest are simply left empty. This technique can be super useful, when your data source has more information than you actually need. Now let's explore another technique that builds on this idea. Using default values during the data load. Let us say we don't want to use the order ID from the file at all. Instead, we want to generate our own IDs automatically, just like a typical primary key. To do that, we can define an auto-increment column in the table. This column will start at 1 and increase by 1 with each new row. Here is what we do. Define the order_ID column in the table with auto_increment. During the copy operation, we exclude the order_ID from the load. We only load, say, the product name and units sold columns. Snowflake will automatically assign the order_ID values for us, clean and simple. Let's run this and take a look. We create the table with auto-increment set up, run the copy command for just the 2 columns we care about, and then inspect the table. Perfect. The order_ID has been filled in automatically, while our chosen columns, product name and units sold populated from file. Now that we have an auto-increment order_ID, we can do something even more useful, filter the data using a where clause. For example, if we want to only see orders with an ID greater than 100, we just write a simple query. Here is the output. So in this lecture, we covered a few more powerful tools. Loading a subset of columns with explicit mappings. Using default values like auto-increment for IDs. Skipping unnecessary columns in the load. Filtering loaded data using where clauses. These techniques make the copy command even more versatile, and help keep your data pipelines clean and efficient. Everything has gone smoothly so far, but what happens when errors occur during the load? How do we handle them? That is exactly what we will dive into in the next lecture. See you there.